Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Bouncing Back with Brighton. In today's episode we're going to face Manchester United in the quarter-final of the Champions League. We're going to play both legs of course. And of course we've got to review the fixtures since the last time we met, and to be honest with you lads, we've been beating the league for the first time this season. Following on from that Chelsea game was a home tie against Stoke City, which we absolutely smashed them 6-0. David Ibrahim, Aquino, Insfran, Carlos Julio, Veerman and Jeremy Doku with the goals. We then faced Liverpool in the 6th round of the FA Cup, played a completely rotated side and only got beat 1-0, which I think is a little bit of a win. Andrea Bellotti got the goal for them in the 58th minute. But with us being so far deep in the Champions League and the position we were in the Premier League, I decided to play a complete second string. So I was basically sacrificing the FA Cup for greater chances further down the line. Next up was a routine 2-0 away win against Crystal Palace. They had a man sent off, Andre Gomez, quite early on, 7 minutes in. Sebastian Jaros and Gravenberch with the goals to make it 2-0. Next up was a home tie against Burnley, which we won 2-0. Another routine victory. Ibrahim with 2, missed a penalty to miss his hat-trick, but not to worry. And then the first defeat, and it's against Manchester United in the league. We played Manchester United in 3 times on 4 games. This was the first of them. And Jesse Lingard put them in front just before half-time, and that's how things stood. We do have some major injuries, which I think we can accredit this defeat to, and they're going to be missing for the Champions League games as well. We'll have a look. So Aquino got injured on international duty, and he's been out for 2 weeks so far, and still a further week to 3 weeks, depending on how things go with his injury. It's not ideal. He's going to miss both legs against Manchester United, and he was obviously missing for the league game that we've just played. He's our best player, hands down. He's already classed as a world-class central midfielder, and missing him is such a major thing for us that we might struggle to get past Manchester United here. And also Carlos Julio is injured, our first choice left-back. He's probably out for, if we do manage to make it through, he probably misses the semi-finals as well. Potentially up to 4 weeks still to go in his injury. Abilio Neves is a very capable deputy, which is why I'm not so much bothered about his injury compared to Aquino, where our backup is Marco Boulat and he's not even near the same level as Aquino. So, yeah, we're struggling a little bit. In terms of the Premier League table, how it looks after those run of fixtures, we're 10 points clear of Manchester City in second place, but they do have a game in hand. So the gap could be close to 7 points based on that defeat. They had drew a game in their little run of fixtures, so if we did manage to beat Manchester United, we could have been well clear. We would have basically had the title in our hands already. But as things stand, there's still a lot to play for with 7 games to go in the Premier League. So the first leg against Man United is away from home. And I think this is how we're going to line up. I think it's the best we can do with the players available. Antonio Carlos in goal, Valentin Gonçalves, Juric and Abilio Neves in the defence. Benty Ebb in that defensive midfield role with Ryan Gravenberch in the centre. He's not particularly comfortable in the box-to-box midfielder role. He played in the centre of midfield role in the league game against Manchester United in the last game, and I had him as a Mezzala, which he is far more comfortable in. But I felt like we were leaving too many gaps in the centre of midfield with him advancing too much. So even though it's not the most comfortable role for him, I am going to stick with it for today's game. We'll see how it goes. Sebastian Jaros on the right hand side with Insfran on the left and Bert Jacobs in behind Ibrahim. Not ideal, not the best first 11 we could put out, but injuries necessitates this is what is happening. So they come at us with the exact same formation they played in the last game, 4-1-2-3. Jesse Lingard, Martial and Dybala. The attacking trio up there. A very talented side, obviously, but we did beat them in the League Cup semi-finals quite comfortably. We drew against them in the league the first time and beating them against the league. So I think we're pretty evenly matched in terms of personnel quality, with just who has the better game on the day, I think. So Manchester United take the kick-off. We are shooting from right to left in this first half. If we could get away with this game with the at worst a narrow defeat, I would feel reasonably comfortable with that, taking them back home and seeing what we can do on home turf. But thankfully Paul Pogba is already injured. I don't know if he was injured coming into the game or not, but might be able to get him off the pitch at some point. Half an hour in now, the game is ticking by with not a lot happening. That is fine by me. As long as we're going to half time 0-0, that would be great. But Ibrahim drives into the box, gets his strike on goal, goes close, but wasn't really troubling David De Gea in goal. 38 minutes in now, there is another highlight. Possession is bouncing backwards and forwards between the teams in midfield, and it looks like Manchester United are taking control and potentially having an attack here. Martinez tries to play the ball over the top. Great challenge by Gravenberch. What is he tackling? It's probably like 8 or something, but he's just made an absolutely fantastic challenge to win the ball back for us in the centre of the park. Oh, wait, ref. Did you say that? Was that Paul Pogba taking down Gravenberch? But it falls to Insfran in the box. Hits the post. Give him a yellow card. Another highlight now. 40 minutes in. Sebastian Jaros plays a back heel and gives it to Anthony Martial. That is not an ideal way to start the highlight. Dybala gets the ball from for Manchester United quite deep. He had to drop back just to receive the ball. Paul Pogba on the ball now to Zobnin to Dybala. Can we get a challenge in now and break? That would be so nice, but don't think it's going to happen. Dybala coming down the left-hand side through ball from Pogba. Aaron Martin plays it in, and Jesse Lingard scored in the last game, and he scored in this one as well. Hit his 8th goal of the season. And Man United are 1-0 up with only 4 minutes to go in this first half. A really disappointing way. The ball comes way too far with this cross. We should be getting it here. Who's that? What? Bentieb, what are you doing, mate? He's literally just let the ball go straight past him. No attempt made to intercept. And looks like we're going in half-time at 1-0 down, unless we can do something in the final 2 minutes here. Jaros is played through by Gravenberch on the right-hand side. Ibrahim is there, and David Ibrahim equalises almost immediately. His 18th goal of the season. Another assist for Sebastian Jaros on that right-hand side. Some great play by Gravenberch here to find the through ball down the right-hand side. It was either Valentin or Jaros who was going to get on the end of that, and it's a great near-post cross, and Ibrahim beats his man to beat David De Gea. That is absolutely brilliant. And there we are, half-time. Manchester United 1, Brighton 1. It is a great, great start for us. Getting that away goal is absolutely massive. Going by the match stats, we are definitely having the better of the game. FC Porto are actually beating Paris Saint-Germain in the other tie that is playing today, which will be great to see. But we'll kick off for the second half, focusing on our own tie, Sam. Our own tie. And we'll see if we can get the win here. 20 minutes to go in this match. Not a lot happening in the second half. We will look to make some changes. Insfran's having a pretty uninspired game, so we'll get Jeremy Doku on in his spot on the left-hand side. Bert Jacobs and Ryan Gravenberch. I'm going to take off Bert Jacobs. We'll put Ryan Gravenberch in the attacking midfield role. We will put Bentieb in the centre, and we will take off Bert Jacobs in the defensive midfield role for Jordan Henderson, who can sit in there quite comfortably and hopefully be able to mop up any Manchester United attacks that come. The second half has really been a dull affair, which is fine by me. If we get out of this with a 1-1 and an away goal, I will be absolutely delighted. But there is an attack, there is a highlight, and it looks like it's going Manchester United's way with Diogo Dalot on this right-hand side. Dybala, lovely through ball on that right-hand side. Martial's back post. Antonio Carlos saves the day there. This should be 2-1 up. We'll make our final sub of the game. Emilio Neves is going to have to stay on. Gravenberch and Bentieb all going to have to stay on. Nathan Wood can come on for Mark Julich in at centre-back, save some tired legs. But Lingard with this... Oh my God, Jesse Lingard. What is happening? Is he like the best player on FM19? He scored 3 goals against us in the previous 2 games. And Man United go 2-1 up very, very late on. It was a good strike by Jesse Lingard, but it's disappointing. Hugely disappointing to go down 2-1 in the 91st minute. I did say I would take a narrow defeat, particularly with an away goal in this first leg. But I felt like we deserved a draw there. I didn't think we deserved to get beat. We'll see. We'll have to pick ourselves up for the second leg, so I'll see you there. Yeah. Our first choice defensive midfielder is now out. 6 months. Ooh. So we've just played Newcastle in the Premier League in between the 2 fixtures against Manchester United, and we won 3-0 away from home. Thomas Tavares, Rodrigo Marquez and Veerman with the goals. Quite a rotated side. Jordan Henderson obviously coming in defensive midfield in place of the injured Bentieb, who's going to miss the rest of the year pretty much. But I'm quite happy with Henderson. He's quite a good player. Particularly attribute-wise, he's still fantastic. Physicals have declined quite rapidly this season, so... We'll have to wait and see how he performs against Manchester United here today. In terms of the lineup for the second leg, I think this is going to have to be what we go with. Antonio Carlos in goal, Valentin, Gonçalves, Julich and Neves in the defence, Jordan Henderson and Gravenberch in the central midfield roles, Sebastian Jaros and Insfran on the wings with Bert Jacobs in behind David Ibrahim. Carlos Julio, Bentieb and Aquino would all be in our first 11 were they fit, so we are quite weak. Compared to that's three of our 11 positions weaker due to injury. It's going to have to be a big performance if we're to get through today's game. 2-1 down after the first leg. with Jesse Lingard just being like the best player on the game. I mean, he's not even good. Why is he scoring all the goals against us? I have no idea. But they come at us with pretty much the exact same formation and the exact same personnel. Let's kick off. So Manchester United take the kick off. We are shooting from right to left in this first half. Big performance needed, lads. We are at home. We do have that slight advantage. But Man United have the aggregate advantage going for them. Bert Jacobs has picked up a knock and attack in midfield. I'm going to have to take him off at some point. Yaros with the corner, plays it in. It's cleared by Man United, and Diogo Dalot can clear and counter for Man United. They've got loads of players on this right hand side. Dybala's there, please. Antonio Carlos saves and keeps us in the match. This is not good. Not good at all. We'll keep Bert Jacobs on for now. We'll look to take him off after half time. Probably remove Gravenberch to attack midfield and bring on Marco Bulat in the central midfield role. But again, it's just another area where we're a little bit weaker than what we should be. And there's the first half. Pretty dead, all things said. Man United coming closest to scoring. No highlight going in our favour. It's not looking good, lads. I think we're going out. We'll look to make that Bert Jacobs substitution now. We'll bring on Marco Bulat and we'll switch him with Ryan Gravenberch. Having Gravenberch further up in the field could be a good thing, but putting Marco Bulat in, he's not the greatest central midfielder. He hasn't developed as much as I would have liked, so we're just going to have to deal with it. Though 55 minutes in, there is a highlight, and Yaros nips in and pinches the ball from the Manchester United player. Insfran, David Ibrahim's in. Oh, David, you should be scoring that, mate. David De Gea with a big save keeps Man United in the game. That should have been a goal. Ibrahim, how many times have I said that? Ibrahim missing clutch chances for us. Highlight now, free kick for Man United. Dybala hits the bar and goes close. Nobody's having a particularly poor game and nobody's taking this game by the scruff of the neck. There's only 15 minutes remaining. Jordan Henderson's struggling a little bit out there, but we can't afford to take him off. Who have we got on the bench that could potentially make a difference? Rodrigo Marquez up top for David Ibrahim. Jeremy Doku on the left for Juan Insfran. I think that's us. I think that's pretty much all we can do at this point. 10 minutes to go. We need to get a goal. Highlight now, Dybala with a free kick quite deep for Man United. And Jonathan Tah puts it in the back of the net. 1-0 Manchester United. That's his 6th goal of the season. And I think that's us out of the Champions League for another year. Oh, it's such a poor goal to concede. I mean, we've scored them ourselves. Ball over the top from a free kick. Defence half asleep. I can't help but think injuries have absolutely screwed us here. 30 seconds to go in this match. Unless you plan on scoring twice, Jordan, I think it's pretty much game over. And there we have it, lads. Another defeat to Manchester United. And this time, it knocked us out of the Champions League at the quarter-final stage. Hugely disappointing. I can't help but feel like we've got a better side than Manchester United. But we had 2 legs. Could have done it in either one of them, but we didn't. So we're out of the Champions League. All focus now returns to the Premier League. Absolutely gutted about that, but unfortunately we've got to move on. Premier League is now the main focus. We're 12 points clear from Manchester United in second now. That potentially reduces to 10 if Manchester City win their game in hand with only 6 games remaining. You would feel like we should have enough, even with the injuries, to be able to see us over the line and win the Premier League title for the first time, which would be a huge achievement for us. But always, Champions League sort of the holy grail, and to get knocked out at the quarterfinal stage is just good. In terms of looking forward to the next episode, we're going to play the final 2 games of the season against Arsenal and Manchester City. Play these 4 games in between. The Premier League will then be wrapped up and we'll see whether we've won it or not. We should, with the amount of points difference that we've got right now. Spurs could be a tricky game, but Palace, Everton and Stoke, we've got to look for wins from them games. And then obviously 2 very difficult games in Arsenal and Man City to complete the season. Disappointing result, but if you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, and if you are enjoying my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.